All right, I'd like to bring this meeting to order.
Okay, I'll do a roll call.
Perfect.
Kevin Cannon.
Here.
Michael Adams is actually, he did let me know ahead of time, he may not be able to make it. Mark Burley.
Yes.
Amy Elliott.
I'm here.
And Chair Allison.
I'm here. Okay, I'd like for someone to call for an approval of the minutes or
We have
change-
the pledge.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pledge of Allegiance. There we go. All right. Right hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
For
which it
and
stands,
it stands,
one
one
nation
nation,
under God,
under
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice
justice
for
for
all. Amen. Okay, now have my fellow board members had an opportunity to look at the minutes and see if there are any changes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay,
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Amy seconds. I'll do a roll call. Kevin Cannon, please unmute. Please unmute.
Yes, I'll abstain.
Okay. Mark Burley,
Aye.
Amy Elliott,
I
Chair Allison.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
could we please go through agenda review?
yes.
I have no changes to the agenda.
Okay,
Okay,
no changes. Okay,
all right, can we go on to public safety reports?
I have Officer Perea Webb. I've asked you to mute. There she is.
Hello.
Hi.
So really not a whole lot going on. You guys in Santa Rosa Valley have seemed to have a lot of suspicious people. And I need you guys to remain diligent and call in anyone who does not belong down there, because obviously I'm sure you've heard of, people ramming our deputies and a lot of transients using the Santa Rosa Road as a thoroughfare. And a lot of times that will translate into burglaries or other crimes against you or your property. So I just need to remind everyone just to call in. It might seem silly, it might be nothing, but better to err on the side of caution.
Thank you so much. I know that was an unfortunate incident. Was the deputy okay?
She's okay.
Yes, thank God. Didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Not at all.
All right. Do we have anybody else?
So I know Commander Hoagland was not able to make it. She's actually up in Sacramento, as is Lieutenant Key. And I'm not sure. Oh, there he is. Yes, there you are. We do have Officer Ayers here.
Hello, how are you? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. We've been running around with everything that's been going on lately in the office, and I'm glad you're ready for me, because I'm gonna head out to a Start Smart class that we have here in a minute also. Again, I'm Officer Ryan Ayers. I'm the Public Information Officer at the Moore Park CHP office. Lieutenant Key is up at some training up in Sacramento at the academy, and he should be here with us next time at the next meeting. So he sends his regards. Also, at the same training is Lieutenant Commander Hoagland. She is the commanding officer at the Canjeo Scales facility, as well as the facility on State Route 118. I'm just going to start off with what she had on agenda on her behalf. Coming up at the beginning of the year, the first part of the year, they are going to be going over some, undergoing some renovations at the Caneo Scales facility. It's going to be taking a couple months. They're going to start, I believe, on the southbound scales. They're on the hill between Camarillo and Newbury Park. That should take maybe about a month and a half. Then they're going to transition over to the northbound scales, which is a bigger project. It's the main scales facility there. So that one was going to take closer to 2 months or so. It should not affect traffic in any way. It's just it should all be contained within the shoulder portion of the highway. So you guys should have no impact with that. I think that was about all she had for the scales and commercial information or news. Did you guys have any questions on the commercial front that she may or she may be able to take back to you guys or her command later? For just the commercial portion or the scales? No?
No.
So I'll just go on with my portion. I know that we've been talking a little bit about making some improvements or changes to the roadway out there in Santa Rosa. I think that's still in the works. It's all in the county's hands right now, though. So we're going to kind of wait on that and see what they come up with as far as a time frame. We're not sure on our end. We're hoping, though, anything that happens out there won't affect the roadway or the traffic on it too much. Just a couple things recently. We do have some upcoming maximum enforcement periods that the CHP is going to be sending out as many officers as they can for the holidays, right? We have the Thanksgiving holiday and then the Christmas holidays coming up also. So what we do during those times is we send out as many officers as we can. Our focus during that time is DUI enforcement and distracted driving enforcement, all with the purpose of reducing the amount of injury and or fatality crashes that we experience here in our area. On that note, we did just have 2 separate crashes that were fatality crashes. Unfortunately, one was on Grimes Canyon on the 15th, where 2 people unfortunately lost their lives and could have been avoided if they had been going slower. There was also a motorcycle rider yesterday that passed away in a crash on State Route 118 out by Sand Canyon on an unincorporated area out there. Again, could have been avoided. He went to pass slower traffic in oncoming lanes, and our goal is to reduce, if not eliminate, these avoidable collisions. Anytime we have a chance to take that into our own hands, we should be. So one of the things we want to kind of remind people for the holiday season, slow down a little bit, give yourself a plan, leave a little bit early, make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to get where you want to go. That way you're not rushing, you're not getting upset at the people around you. Just kind of practice that patience as a driver. We know it's hard, but especially during the holidays with all of the new traffic, I should say, picking up, it's one of the best practices we can do. Stop those avoidable crashes. Let's see. Out in the unincorporated areas, and it's been happening in the cities as well, but we see it specifically in the unincorporated areas. The catalytic converter thefts have been on the rise. Do we have any other, Venice, do we have any other law enforcement here tonight?
Yeah, we have a sheriff's deputy.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna let him or her
Perfect.
talk about that. I can't see who it is, but I'll let them talk about that.
I think
I think it's more their purview, but just to kind of quickly mention, we are partnering with the Moore Park Police Department, the Ventura County Sheriff Department, to help curb the catalytic converter thefts. And there is a program, the etch and catch program that we are working on with them. So I'll let them talk about that. Let's see. Let's see here. So as we get closer to the holidays, just some of the things that we'd like people to think about also. We're going out and doing more shopping. As we, the day goes on, we shop and then go to dinner or whatever, park in the parking lot with all your gifts in the car, all the things you just bought. Anything you can do to keep the vision of those gifts or objects out of the view of thieves. Okay, put in the trunk, cover it with something. If they don't know what it is, or if they can't see it, why would they break in and get to it, right? So anything you can do to help yourself in that situation, is going to help us as well. On that note also, and I'll also let the sheriff's deputy talk about this a little bit more, but package thieves, way more prevalent than it used to be. You get that Amazon package on your porch or whatever. So we always, practice the see something, say something, and that's going to go for you. It's going to go for your neighbors. If you can have a neighbor or a friend bring that package in for you, if you know it's already been delivered, it's probably going to save some heartache in the long run. We all know packages are taking longer to get to us anyway, so we don't want that hassle. Let's see. I think that was pretty much all that I have. I know you guys have probably got a couple things for me. So if you've got something that I can help with or speak on, I'll take those questions now.
Is there anybody raising their hand?
I don't, if anyone does have any questions, you can click the raise hand button down at the bottom. I don't see any raise.
You are, but
hands. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone from the MAC then?
Okay.
And I do see, I think Deputy Perea had to jump off because I don't see her on here anymore. She spoke right before you.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, so
Did she
I
speak
think-
on those topips that I was alluding to?
No, but
No?
I know that we've
Okay.
had someone speak on the past on the etch and catch. And I always want to
Okay.
call it etch and sketch.
I know that's I always mix those up also. So yeah, the etch and catch program, obviously there's a lot of auto shops throughout Moore Park that we've teamed up with to help you. They etch your license plate number into the catalytic converter. That's a free program that they offer. And when a thief sees that, they can't or shouldn't be turning it into a scrapyard, and the scrapyard vice versa shouldn't be accepting it. So it just curbs that that theft. With the package thieves, we see it all times of the day and night. Okay, so they just drive through the neighborhoods, look for it, and they come back and they stop, run up, grab it, and they go. So if you guys see something like that, help us out by being a good observer, being a good witness. Just get a description of the car. License plate is really good, helps us track these thieves down. We have had both apprehensions of the package thieves lately and the catalytic converters within the last couple months out of the Moore Park office. So it is definitely on the rise. Some of the things with leaving our doors unlocked, lock the doors, lock the windows, things like that. One of the things that we see when we drive through the neighborhoods late at night, we see motion lights go on. One of the things that's kind of a telltale sign, if a motion light goes on, there's got to be something there to trigger it, right? So just maybe let that heighten your awareness a little bit during that time. See what you can see, someone ducking behind a car, whatever the case may be. And it's also a good idea to have your friends and neighbors' phone numbers for that. Hey, we just saw your motion light go on. I know it's probably nothing, but maybe check on it.
I have I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, go ahead.
I don't want to cut you off.
You're good.
I have one hand raised.
Oh, hey. Yeah, hi, it's Amy Elliott.
Oh, it is. Oh, Amy.
Yeah. Hi, I'm in my car, so I turned the camera
Okay.
off. Yeah, hi. I wanted to mention, and I don't know if this is in your wheelhouse. I'm sure it is. So I live off of Santa Rosa Road, and it looks like there's been a small encampment up on the top of
Where'd you go, Amy?
We lost her. Amy. Oh, no.
She's
I'm
here.
guessing she's talking about Hill Canyon.
Right? She's not muted. She's right here.
Yeah, it could be where she is. Mark, do you know anything about the encampment she's talking about? Is it Hill
Yeah, I
Canyon?
think it's not in Hill Canyon. It's up the hill on that development that hasn't been made yet, is my understanding, sort of towards the top of the hill. I mean,
Like
it's close
Wildwood
to, it's
Preserve.
close to Hill Canyon, but it's not in Hill Canyon as I understand it.
So we're talking about like Wildwood Preserve?
Yes, on the hill above there. That was my understanding of where it was. But I thought that had been dealt with by
Oh.
the sheriff's deputies.
And
Oh.
then the-
Where is
Amy,
she? Oh,
is she calling back in?
I think she actually jumped, or no, she's
She's down
on.
bottom right now, or
I'm
bottom.
not sure where she went. Oh, there.
She's muted.
You have to star, I think it's star 6 to unmute, Amy.
I'm good. Hey,
There you
guys.
go.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm in the transition zone. Yeah, so yes, it was actually not in Hill Canyon yet. It's more along, it's the mountain directly behind the old tropical paradise. And I hike up that mountain. There's not really a trail. It's we call the police sometimes because a truck drives up straight up the side of the mountain. But there was signs of some small fires up there. Lots of what I would think maybe drug paraphernalia. So concerning.
Am I wrong, Amy, in saying that you had already talked to the sheriff's
I talked-
deputies about this and they had come and contacted you?
Well, they contacted me and she was about to go on vacation. She said that she was planning on going up there, but she couldn't. So I think I'm just going to kind of reach out again about it because I just am
Okay.
just a little concerned about the fire stuff.
I think it's more a sheriff's department than a CHP issue, this one.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I don't see any more hands, so.
All right. Well, I do see some familiar faces from last night's meeting. So, hi guys, how are you? I think that was a pretty successful meeting that we had. It was informative, and I think we have a point of contact that we'll be able to move forward with. So, keep me updated on any events as they unfold, and I'm hoping we can move forward positively on that. So, thanks for inviting me to that.
Good.
Okay, great.
Tom did a good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Officer Ayers.
Your report. Thank you.
Have a good
I'm gonna
holiday.
head off to that class now. I got a bunch of teenagers to teach. So,
Ah, fun.
You didn't go to the shop for the cop event tonight.
no, I've been busy, but we're gonna have more of them. So we'll definitely. Last year I did 3 with the Simi Valley Police Department and 1 with the Sheriff's Department. So we'll be out in the community and doing all that stuff. It's a good cause. So
Perfect.
you'll see us out there.
I know, I felt bad. I couldn't be there tonight because of our meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's go on to comments from Ventura County Supervisor Parks.
Hi, good evening. Speaking of toys and all, we have Spark of Love Toy Drive is with our Ventura County Fire Department. And they team up every year, the Spark of Love Toy Drive. And it's actually the largest community toy drive in the nation. Local firefighters are collecting donations for distributing to children and teens in need of a happier holiday experience. And you can get more information at the Ventura County Fire Department website, which is vcfd.org. And you can also drop off toys locally at the sheriff's station on Olson Road. So a good local place to drop off. And yesterday was the Fallen Firefighters Memorial. I was the keynote speaker, but just recognizing 4 of our firefighters who had lost their lives as a result of occupational hazards, essentially. So firefighters generally have a shorter lifespan than the rest of us, and it's because they are often in situations that are hazardous to their health. You know, while we're running away from a fire, they're running towards a fire, but it's also car fires that have toxic smoke and industrial explosions and all kinds of things that can impact their health into retirement. And that's what's happened with these 4 individuals. We also have a COVID update. Our public health director has indicated that he believes the Board of Supervisors should continue on Zoom for another 30 days. So at least until January, we'll be continuing our Zoom meetings. And once we are given the all clear, all the other meetings of the different departments, committees throughout our county can also begin in person. And we're all looking forward to that. There's a lot of work that's been done at the board. We've had a 12-hour meeting the Tuesday before and about a 10.5-hour meeting last Tuesday. So a lot of it was involved with redistricting. I know that's on your calendar or your agenda later on, so we'll talk about it when we get there. But all good for Santa Rosa Valley in terms of being able to stay in with Thousand Oaks.
Great. That's good to hear. Thank you. Okay. Now we have Moore Park Watershed Parks and Recreation Conservation Authority project work session.
I have a Jonathan Turner. He is going to share his screen.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Jonathan Turner. I am the consultant working with the Moore Park Watershed Parks and Recreation Conservation Authority, Jeremy Laurentowski, who is City of Moore Park employee, Parks and Rec Director, but he is also part of the Moore Park Watershed Parks and Recreation Conservation Authority. So a little bit about the authority before I share my screen. The authority is actually a collaboration, a JPA, Joint Powers Authority, between the City of Moore Park and the Santa Monica Mountains Conservation Group. And so the two agencies have formed this JPA, and one of the projects of the JPA is why we're here to speak with you tonight. This project is in concept stage. We are just literally starting out with the concept. We appreciate you allowing us to come speak with you tonight about the project and get feedback from you. So as we move forward, we will be able to incorporate those comments with our project. So a little bit about the project. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is our project, and I will orient you. And one of the things we're doing is obviously reaching out to you, and then we'll be moving forward with some of the other adjacent property owners. But from a point of reference, over here off of the map is the City of Moore Park. Tierra Rajada Road is over here. And this alignment right here is actually Moore Park Road. This is Reed Road, and then we continue down Moore Park to the intersection of Moore Park Road and Santa Rosa Road. So this is in the eastern side of the valley. And the project, as I mentioned, the JPA owns a parcel of land that extends from Tierra Rajada all the way down and to here. It is a undeveloped. You all are very familiar with it. You drive, anytime you drive to Moore Park or from Moore Park on the southern boundary, you're driving past this parcel. It's very hilly, has nice rolling features. And so the concept that the JPA came up with is they applied for a grant to look at a study for a new equestrian pedestrian bike trail that would extend at least as part of this initial concept, from a future parking area located here on the property. And then the trail would extend through the property down here. It would cross that very large drainage feature that is located here. I'm going to zoom in a little. The drainage feature that's located here under the road. And then it would continue further to the south and end up over here on the property that is currently owned by CRPD. The JPA has, as part of the initial coordination, has been coordinating with COSCA and CRPD, because the vision is that this trail would initially start the wheels forward with eventually, hopefully, a trail that would lead from the city of Moore Park to the city of Thousand Oaks along this alignment. There's obviously, as I said, we're just starting out with it, so there's still quite a bit of ground to cover. What I would like to go over with you tonight is to get into some of the details, at least from a conceptual standpoint. But from an overview standpoint, there's a couple of little alignment alternatives that we're looking at here at the creek crossing, and then here negotiating which side of Moore Park Road makes the most sense for us to proceed. So that is the proposed alignment. And then the trail, from a general concept standpoint, will be about 12 feet wide. It will be, there will be a fence where it's needed. But for instance, on the property here, it's nice open space. Likely won't be any sort of fencing, so that the users will be able to just enjoy the landscape. Okay, so that's the alignment overview. So what I would like to talk to you about conceptually is kind of walk you through some of these critical areas. The first that we were looking at is obviously the intersection of Moore Park Road and Santa Rosa Road. You're familiar with the fact that the existing signals and the crosswalks here are already set up for equestrian use. There's dual push buttons, pedestrian push buttons low, and obviously equestrian push buttons high. So this trail will provide that connectivity that the intersection designers had envisioned when they put the intersection improvements in. The trail, as you remember, this is the Moore Park area. We're heading south here. There's an existing an unimproved earthen trail that's located on this side of the road, and then the trail would connect to this existing crosswalk, and then there would be improvements that we would be making if this project is fortunate enough to move into design, that would extend the trail over to and terminate for now at the CRPD property that's located adjacent to the nursery. A little bit of a close-up of the intersection improvements. This is looking north towards the city. This is that earthen trail that we're showing here that's existing. This is the intersection with the crosswalks, and then this is the driveway for Hidden Meadows looking north. This is a conceptual perspective of what the trail is envisioned to look like as you head east on Moore Park Road towards the CRPD property. It would be a proposed 12-foot wide trail. We would have barrier fencing here from the traffic lanes, and then there would be a retaining wall that would be on the north side of this existing drainage feature. We have had initial conversations with Watershed Protection District at the county, the City of Thousand Oaks, COSCA, CRPD, and the County Transportation Department, just sort of alerting the public agencies of the trail concept. The conceptual perspective, continuing looking from the kind of in a northeast direction, you see the trail located here as it meanders along Moore Park Road over to the CRPD property. And then a large overview looking north for the proposed trail location. Switching to a different area of the project that we wanted to discuss conceptually is the trail crossing across the Lexington Hills property entrance. Now, we have not had the opportunity yet to speak with Lexington Hills HOA. It is on our, it is part of our plan to do so, but we started with the MAC tonight, and then we intend to reach out to Lexington Hills. But from a conceptual standpoint, the trail would traverse either the west side or the east side of Moore Park Road, and I'll touch base with the alignments shortly. And so the trail would head along here along the road, and then it would utilize this existing crossing here, which hopefully, you know, when we meet with Lexington, we'll be able to share this with them, that maybe this would be a good place for, if they had individuals who would like to utilize the trail also, then they could, this would be a good access point for them. And then this is the beginning of the trail that heads to the south back towards the intersection. A couple of blown up pictures so that you can sort of get your bearings. This is looking north, and then the trail would run along. We would still have the split rail fencing that we had been showing, the white vinyl fencing. And then it would traverse across here and then come back across the front. Now, I did mention this alternative trail alignment, and I will touch base on that. But in essence, in this view, you can see that it would run from Reed Road crossing down to the south to the intersection on this side. The disadvantage to this side is obviously the Reed Road crossing, which I'll talk about in a minute. But more importantly, the amount of capital infrastructure that would be required in retaining walls and drainage improvements to this side in order, because as you're very familiar, the hillside comes right down to a very shallow shoulder and then the curb face. So there's not room for a 12-foot wide trail. So what we would have to do is dig back into the mountain and build a very expensive retaining wall, 10 to 12, 15 feet high in areas, in order to squeeze the trail in on that side. So this is the alternative trail alignment and not the preferred alignment at this time. Okay, so that's that crossing. Here's another view, just more views of those crossings at Lexington. Over here is showing on the JPA property, the proposed trail alignment here as it crosses the drainage structure, and then an alternate alignment here that goes up and over the drainage structure and closer to the road. The conceptual views here, looking northwest, sort of back towards the city of Moore Park boundary, you can see the trail running along here, and then there would be a new metal bridge that would be here to cross the creek. But after conversations with the County of Ventura, Watershed Protection Group, we are looking at this alternative trail alignment. While not as preferred because it brings the users right up to the same level as the road, from a very bucolic, rural experience to back to civilization, so to speak, and then back down into the nice property boundary. It does allow us to avoid some pretty heavy regulatory permitting that would be required with Fish and Wildlife, the Corps of Engineers, and the regional board. So this does, while not as nice, I don't want to say nice of an experience, but it just has different advantages to it than this one does here. And then here it is, sort of looking towards the drainage structure in a southwest direction. You can see the alternative alignment and then this alignment here, crossing that drainage feature there. That's pretty substantial. On the last slide I wanted to show you tonight is the Reed Road crossing. The Reed Road crossing would bring the trail here, but if we were not allowed to continue across the, on this west side of the road, then the alternative alignment that is under consideration is a proposed signalized crossing here that would bring the trail down this side and then down the eastern side of Moore Park Road with that expensive retaining wall that I spoke of earlier. Here's what it would look like at Reed Road. Now, the disadvantages of this crossing here, not only do we have the retaining wall, which is an extremely expensive capital feature, but we have this crossing on this curve of the road, which not only has elevation gain and loss on both sides, but also it's on a curve. So you have some traffic visibility, sight distance features, which would have to be addressed if for some reason this alternative alignment was the one that ended up being the only option. So there is a lot of information about our concept. And as I said, we're sort of starting out. Nothing's really been set in stone. These are conceptual features. The JPA, I know it was important for our side of the table to start conversations with the interested parties, because in order to move forward and pursue potential grant funding or loans and financial assistance to construct design it first of all, and then construct it, we sort of wanted to introduce it to the group. The benefit to Santa Rosa Valley is this is the eastern side connection to quite an intricate trail network that you already have. And so the benefits to your group, and one of our reasons for coming forward tonight, is to introduce our project, but to also point out that this trail would be open to the public. So it would be a trail that your community would also be able to enjoy the benefit of. If and when the trail actually connects to Moore Park and actually connects to the city of Thousand Oaks, it would be an incredible resource for everyone in the valley, and not only the two cities, to be able to move about in the environment and not have to use their vehicles. So, Jeremy, is there anything that you would like me to touch on that I might have missed before we go for questions?
No, I think you pretty much covered it, John. Thanks very much. We're just super excited about this project. As John mentioned, it's simply a line drawing on a plan at this point. But we did want to reach out to obviously everybody that's involved. We have reached out to county planning. We are aware of the Santa Rosa Valley Trail Master Plan. We see how this connects, and we see the value of this project. It's extremely complicated, as John mentioned. There are so many agencies involved because we're spanning county property. We're crossing City of Thousand Oaks property, Conejo Rancho Park and Recreation District, Costco, various HOAs, 3 directly from what I believe. So it's complicated. This is probably at least a 10-year project. But we would like to at least get comments. We're hoping that there would be support for this project. We would love to get into actual design drawings and have it designed so we could seek grant funding in the future. I did want to mention also that Don Robinson is on this call as well. Don is also a member of the board member of our MWPRCA. Don and I are both on the board. And that's all I've got. So thanks, John. I appreciate it.
If anyone has any questions.
Yeah.
I have some comments.
Take it away, Mark.
Great.
First of all, John came and gave this same presentation to Hidden Meadows Homeowners Association, of which I happen to be on the board. And I would just like to say that the connection on Marvella is at the intersection of Moore Park and Santa Rosa Road, is a direct connection to the Hidden Meadows trail system, which, as you say, is part of the whole Santa Rosa Valley trail system. But Hidden Meadows trail system is open for recreational use, for non-motorized use for the public. So this is a very nice connection of trails at the very east end of the valley, and would extend that trail system out both north and further east. So I will just say also that the Hidden Meadows board voted strongly to support this, and I hope that our MAC will support it in the same way. And I'll just add one other thing, is that when this comes into existence, it will help to open up what is the Joel McRae Park. And if apparently they've already been talking to CRPD, COSCA, and it would be a wonderful place for us to be able to have trail connections that go into Joel McRae Park. And at this point, we don't have that. And at this point, that park is not open to the public, except for, you have to sort of book it. So I would like to indicate my personal strong support for this project, and I'm happy to make a motion at a point when everybody else has had time to discuss it.
Okay, I just had one question regarding the design. So at the point where you cross over to the Marvella intersection, you have that trail at road height. And to me, and then you're going to build a retaining wall on the, the south side there. Wouldn't it be better to have the trail go down into that property and get people further off the road and not be right next to the road heading into Joel McRae?
So I would say that conceptually, yes, that would be a great option to get folks down. We would still require a retaining wall, whether it be to support the trail or to support the road. One of the issues is just to think about is that in inclement weather, when there's flow in that channel, the trail would be closed. That would have to be something that could potentially be a maintenance issue if debris ended up on the trail. Even if we had it just a foot or two higher, it would just be something we would have to take into account. But I like your idea, and I will add it to the concept plan as an alternate.
Yeah, you're definitely right about the debris. For years, large eucalyptus trash is down in that basin. It's really kind of and yeah, when it rains, that really roars. So hydrology wise, we need to figure that out so the road isn't compromised and the trail is sustainable through strong winters that we hopefully get.
Great, thank you for your comment.
And I do second Mark's support for it as a board member or as a council member. Oops, what did I do?
I'd like to just say what a great project this is in this terms of something that the Santa Rosa Valley had been looking at, something very similar as a multi-use trail along Santa Rosa Road. And that was in the county's general plan, I think at one point too. And the fact that you have even a more complicated a set of topography and issues to deal with than just going down Santa Rosa Road. I feel like if you can do this, then maybe we can get that trail that we've been looking forward to. As I understand, this is a work study item, so it's not really an item for a motion. It would be, you know, conceptually, they're getting your opinion and they can add that, but it's not really at the stage where you can vote one way or the other. So I think that that's the basis for this item.
My understanding from county is that a vote could come later, at a later time when there's an application being prepared.
Congratulations.
Actually, I do have one other thing. Mark maybe can help me with this. So the trail coming down from the north to the south to Santa Rosa Road, Moore Park Road intersection, you said there's an unimproved dirt road or dirt trail now. That looks like it goes up very steeply. I thought it went to the mountaintop, but you're saying that existing path doesn't climb up the mountain even higher? It does kind of what you got there?
No, it doesn't.
What doesn't? Oh, it doesn't climb
It doesn't
higher.
go up the mountain.
Okay.
It was put in about 15 years ago, actually to give access to somebody who lived in Lexington, in that property that's at the very southeast corner of Lexington, who had horses, yeah, around there. And it was to give access to that person to get into Santa Rosa Valley. Conceptually at that time, it was thought that maybe we would be able to have a trail that went up the hill and connected up over the top. But for various reasons, partly topographical, but also due to sort of lack of interest from Lexington Estates, because it would have been in Lexington Estates, it never got extended any further than that. So actually, if it becomes now part of this connection, that would be a thing of joy.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys need any sort of, without a formal vote, any stronger?
There was a question.
Would you like to hear all of the members of the board
question in the
give their
chat.
opinion about this?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Venice, yes, can you go ahead and respond or ask that
I'll ask
question?
it. Yeah, there was a question in the chat that says, has the idea of incorporating the trail with a wildlife corridor?
Which wildlife corridor?
Let me see that.
She may be talking about the overlay. Maybe Linda can address it. Is this part of the overlay of the wildlife corridor overlays?
I think the idea of the wildlife corridor in some places is, a half-mile wide, so it's hard to say, can this trail also be a wildlife corridor? But certainly the standards for building the trail would follow those type of requirements in terms of the type of fencing used. It would be an example. I wouldn't think it would include lighting, so you don't have a problem with that. But those are the kind of issues that you'd be looking at.
Okay. All right. So
Vanessa, I think we've kind of gathered that there's no objection to the trail, so that's helpful for us. And I see another thumbs up, and that's enough to get us excited and keep on moving. So we really appreciate your time. Like I said, we're excited about this. We have other folks to show it to, and we're going to continue. And we'll be back to let you know how we ended up. So
I think it would be a great benefit to the Santa Rosa Valley community.
If there is anything we can do to assist you in your outreach, please let us know. We'll be happy to help you if you need
and
any.
also for Ventura County. So perfect.
thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
for
right.
coming.
Thank you.
Now we're going on to information items. Update on Ventura County redistricting.
Well, it was interesting process that we went through. We had 60 to 80 maps generated from the public for us to consider. We had, I think, over 890, documents that the public submitted. So there was a organized effort to reach different groups throughout the county. And over a 12-hour meeting we had on one day, and then 10 and a half the next Board of Supervisors meeting, we came to an agreement. And I know Venice probably has the link, so we can put that up. And each of the municipal advisory councils did write letters, and I think it met all of their requests. We did hear you, and I just thought this is an example of how MACs are effective, because other communities that didn't have municipal advisory councils didn't have communities of interest, which is what we're looking at, being able to have their voice heard as loudly as our MACs. So if you want to zoom in near the Santa Rosa Valley, essentially the map that we agreed on, and we'll have the final vote at our next meeting, I think the first Tuesday in December, shows my district, District 2, in the orange color. And there's Santa Rosa Valley. Mark Burley did call in. It was great to have him give his live comments there. So what happened to my district essentially is I did lose Cal State University Channel Islands, but I gained Camarillo. I also lost Bell Canyon.
Right.
But I gained portions of Camarillo. One of the efforts was trying to not split up cities. So Thousand Oaks at one time was proposed for being split in this process. A few different maps suggested it. The objective was trying to reach what they call a majority minority district. That means a majority of the voting population are a minority, and in this case it's Latinx. So we were able to put together a Latinx majority in that teal color. Previously, Camarillo was all in that teal color, as well as, if you zoom out, the Santa Paula, Fillmore, Piru area, but they had to take some of Camarillo out because it's not as Latinx as the other areas. So that's kind of why Camarillo had to be split. And there were maps that split it 3 ways. This map only splits it twice. And so that portion in the orange, it's over there in the Mission Oaks and also in the Heights, Camarillo Heights. That became part of my district now, and a little broader span beyond Somas. It also includes from Santa Rosa Road. It gets, before we had that really tight line at Jerry Road, roughly. Now that's kind of gone. So all of that area, all the way through to Las Posas, is now in Supervisor District 2. I actually came out.
On this map, where is Upland? Can you point that out?
Sure. It is right here.
You
Upland.
can actually go in so close that you can see the street names.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, there. Okay.
Upland right here. So here's Santa Rosa Road. And then that's where you turn to go up that hill.
All right.
That's Upland.
Okay.
What I'm curious about is the Cam Rosa Water District line. I don't know where that is exactly. Are they going to be serving?
You would have more Cam Rosa also, right? And
yeah.
So Cam Rosa is right at this bend.
No, I know, but they serve Mission Oaks. They serve the Mission Oaks, and there's a line between them serving the city of Camarillo and Camarillo serving the other part of Camarillo. So I'm just wondering if that line.
Go all the way down to Cal State Channel Islands, too.
Yeah.
The one little discrepancy, came down to a vote. We had the line drawn for the Camarillo Heights, and that was something I requested. If I'm going to get Camarillo, I thought the Camarillo Heights is more like Lynn Ranch. It's more rural, and I'd rather have unincorporated area than incorporated city, and so did the city council. But I got that vote, and they decided to draw the line at Las Posas Road, and can you kind of make the cursor go along Las Posas? So that's what that is. The black jagged line is actually the city boundary line.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I get both the unincorporated area and the
Here.
incorporated area there. But to me, that's a minor thing when you look at the whole scale of the map. If you zoom out, it was interesting too that a group called Cause, which is really strong for Latino rights, was pushing a map very hard that would have given Supervisor Long Oxnard and taken Supervisor Ramirez and put her in the teal color. And that one just didn't fly with the supervisors. Their reasoning was that it would be more likely to have two supervisors who are Latino, essentially.
Mhm.
If you had Carmen Ramirez overseeing Fillmore and Santa Paula and Piru, and had Kelly Long in Oxnard, because when Kelly Long was up, it would be likely that she'd be replaced with someone who's Latino. So to me, that was a little too politic oriented. We're talking about 3 years down the line. But the idea that we could do it without having to take a supervisor out of their district. There was actually a proposal that came on Tuesday from staff that would have put Kelly Long in my district. So it's just really interesting what you can do with those maps. But I think we can all live with this. It really doesn't do much to Supervisor Huber's district other than give him Bell Canyon. And it seems to work really well with Supervisor Levere, not too many changes for him. So it worked out. I'm glad that we only divided Camarillo in 2 instead of in 3. So interesting process to go through. Next time we're talking about, let's do it with an independent commission and see what they come up with. But that's 10 years from now. I'll be there.
Just so
Thank
you know,
you.
I've put the link to this map if you want to go in and play with it. It's in the chat. You can go in and really scroll in really close to see where your house is. So, but the link is in the chat.
Can you email that link to the board, to the MAC members?
Sure can.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, the final vote is coming, and we received your letter before we voted on Tuesday, received your comments. Casa Caneo MAC was also Oak Park MAC, and
Somas.
Somas MAC. Somas MAC was just keep us all together. It wasn't so much which district, they just really wanted to be together wherever they go. And the map, the final 2 maps had Somas either in Supervisor Huber's or in my district, and that's where it ended up, back where it started.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's interesting. The maps definitely have been changed.
And you may think of in the future, you might want to expand your MAC boundary to the entire Santa Rosa Valley, because now it will all be in one district.
Yeah, I was looking at that. That was this is the first time this has happened, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's certainly something to discuss. I wonder if the people in the west end of the Santa Rosa Valley would be interested in that, and how we could reach out to discuss that.
And so we won't count our chickens until they hatch. We'll make sure that this does get a vote at the board, but it's something we can discuss next year.
Thank you.
I wonder if Janice's house now in the district?
Yes, yes, it is. It's in because it's east of Upland.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. So anyway.
It seems odd to extend the, again, chickens, the MAC into the city of.
Right.
That doesn't seem like.
It doesn't make sense, really.
Yes, but that's a funny little idea.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Supervisor Parks, for letting us know where we're at with the maps.
And also thank you for pushing to keep this MAC within your district. We really appreciate
Yes,
that.
Yes,
that
I
was
know.
important for us.
I know at one point I got this text from Venice going, wait a second, that would put Santa Rosa Valley
I
to
know,
see
I know.
long. You
I
can
know.
only open it. We're fighting
Denise
there.
said,
It was like a
Denise
horror movie,
said
on
that
again, off again, and then, okay, now we're good.
And with the new map, Venice was going, you're not going to start another MAC, are you? No, 4's enough.
yes. Okay, so now we've talked about the redistricting. Let's go to the Bridlewood Debris Basin and Equestrian Trail.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little update on that. Since the last meeting when we said they were going to fix the physical aspect of the entrance from the west side, that happened. And the board, Bridlewood board came down, I was down there, and that is now fixed. So it's not open for use yet, because now what is happening is the county and Bridlewood HOA are going through a lot of legal discussions. These are fairly complicated, some of them fairly arcane. One of them was an issue to do with who was the insurance carrier for Bridlewood, and the county has agreed to accept in principle, the insurance carrier that they already have. Now there's some other issues that are being discussed, and that is still going forward. So it's not finished, but it's not at a standstill. So slowly it's happening. So I don't know when it'll be resolved, but it's going through. There's a lot of lawyers involved.
What?
Okay.
I know. She doesn't work.
That's too bad. Okay. And you know, truthfully, I wonder how this is all going to happen. I'm still concerned about the big rains and how that flowage is going to go with the new debris basin being gone. All right, so now let's talk about, we have someone to speak to us about temporary rental units.
Supervisor Parks will.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So basically, I know we were asked about what are the rules regarding we call them TRUs, temporary rental units. So we have an ordinance, and when we established that ordinance, we put overlays over two very popular areas in the county that have a lot of these TRUs. One is over there along the beach, Silver Strand area. The other one is over in the Ojai Valley, where they have the tennis tournaments and all, and the festivals. So as a result of that, the rest of the unincorporated area of the county just falls under the normal ordinance that we have in place prior to this overlay zone that went into the Ojai Valley. Santa Rosa Valley falls outside of that overlay zone. So there's no specific enforcement that's done by our resource management agency. The ordinance is not applied to any property outside of the overlay zones, which means property owners can operate these temporary rental units without obtaining permits. The only thing that they would need to obtain is a business license, and they would also need to apply for the transient occupancy tax. And of course, you know, all other ordinances still apply in terms of, loud amplified noise and those kind of issues are always going to apply.
A lot of the HOAs have restrictions against short-term rentals. So the homeowners associations, I think, have prevented a lot of that from happening, but the rest of our unincorporated area would not have any restrictions whatsoever, as far as I can see.
What are the chances that Santa Rosa Valley could apply to be put within this overlay zone?
I think it would be a costly process. It would have to go through environmental documents and hearings and all of that. And I think there are so many other areas in the unincorporated area that could say, well, you know, what about me? What about me? And then it just becomes, I think, an enforcement nightmare that they wouldn't be able to keep up with all of it. So we went through a very long and difficult process to get to where we are today. So I don't know if, you know, it's kind of like a can of worms if the board would want to open that up again. But initially, yes, it would be also cost some funds too.
Well, I know we have some concerns. I know there's a new property, and Kevin, I understand that you've been involved in that up on Priscilla that's been advertised as both a venue as well as a short-term rental location. So,
Correct.
and unfortunately, it has brought, you know, noise and traffic, which has been a concern. So, or at least I've heard that from other homeowners.
We have another resident who'd like to speak on this. I don't know if she can push the hand up button, but Denise just wanted to let you know. Here's well, you know what? Maybe we should, Kevin, you maybe don't have as much information as Maria Nelson about this. So would it be advisable for us to hear from her first?
Yes, I would love to hear from Marie first. She's right next door to it.
Where?
We're right next
She's
door.
under what? It says Warren.
There you are.
Warren. Oh, okay. So you're already unmuted.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's right next door to us and it's been hideous. You know, and unfortunately we have a shared driveway. So they just speed up and down the driveway. We've almost been run over a few times. Parking is an issue. We've had to put up all kinds of signs, but the noise, and they're really kind of obnoxious people. So it's a real problem. And I feel that our house now is probably diminished in value. So to sell it, we would have to sell it probably to another business. So this could go on and on. Can't we? How do we form an HOA? How can we stop this? It's hideous. I mean, how would you like to have this living next to you?
Well,
You wanna get
I
involved?
do believe there's restrictions against the event portion of it that I understand from Denise. She had provided us some of the guidance as to how many people, and I was surprised. I guess you can have up to 75 people, Denise, without a permit.
Without a permit, and it's like a one-time thing. You can't continue to rent it out. And is this the property, Kevin, that you were speaking with the owners?
Yeah. Okay.
On Priscilla, right?
Yes, it's on
Yeah.
Priscilla, which is not part of an HOA, unfortunately. It's above the Rancho homeowners HOA. Priscilla Road doesn't belong to that. So there's two things going on, and it's called Benjamin Estates, and the couple bought it under the pretense of having it as a second home, but they quickly put up a website that advertised it as an event space, and also as they're on the Airbnb system. So I got on the phone with the owner and informed her that, well, as an event space, you'd have to have a conditional use permit, so you're operating illegally. She was sort of saying that she was unaware of the Ventura County rules. She had heard there was rumors that they were strict. I said, oh yeah, we've shut them down before in our valley. And I said, you have to apply, you have to get the county's permission. And Maria, when it does go to the county, they have enough resources to do enforcement if there is a CUP. That's what Linda was alluding to. So that's in place. That's in place, that there would be mitigation rules put on them as far as the traffic, as far as the parking, the noise, above and beyond just the ordinances that Linda mentioned that we're all under.
Can I just make a comment here? We're
Sure.
conflating two issues. There's two issues here. One
Yes.
is event.
No, I know. I wanted to get
The
to
other
that.
is having a temporary rental unit or temporary rental unit.
Right.
And
But I
rules
just,
are very different for those.
I know, but it's
Right.
confusing, Mark, when people don't know that there's two different things. I'll get to the Airbnb part of it. But for
Okay.
Maria's sake, I want to make sure she understands this, that what I talked to the owner about was, you need to go ask the county that. Denise put them in touch with that. Since then, they took down their website. Thankfully, they didn't have any future events scheduled. So I want to put that to bed, that we won't have noisy parties being events there, hopefully, until they can possibly get a conditional use permit. And I'm saying that so the MAC's got a heads up that application might go into planning. And I want to make sure the MAC knows ahead of time before the process hits us and it's too late for us to complain.
Well,
Okay.
we would look at that when it comes to the board.
We've looked at them before they've come to the planning commission as well, just to get our inputs in there as soon as possible. At any rate, so then the Airbnb thing, what I'm understanding is county doesn't have the resources to enforce anything beyond the normal ordinances in Santa Rosa Valley, unincorporated areas. You know, unfortunately, most of our houses are in HOAs. And so up on Priscilla here, we're screwed. I believe Maria's right. They're going to be propagating a lot of these places up here because it's the Wild West. People come from LA and think they can just do whatever they want. Okay, so I'm understanding that we got to rely on the Airbnb itself to enforce their own rules and complain to Airbnb. And then the sheriff's department to get numerous calls over and over and over again. And maybe that raises the bar for the county to say, the sheriff's department's really bugged about this Santa Rosa Valley going crazy, and maybe they will consider the overlay. I've had my piece. I just wanted to get all that out, okay, for the Warren's sake.
All right.
How do we get an HOA?
That, I don't know how you get an HOA. I mean, the track's already, or the house is already.
You get an HOA when a track. Can I give my opinion?
Okay.
First of all, there are restrictions under the current rules about how many people can be there at a time. And there are also laws or rules about what the people who own the property need to do. And I was up there yesterday or today, and I know that those are not all, they're not in compliance with all of the rules as they stand. That having been said, I am hearing that this property was basically bought to be an Airbnb. And as such, we have, now lost a family housing unit. Right. So the idea that that would continue to happen in Santa Rosa Valley, or honestly, with anywhere in the unincorporated Santa Rosa Valley, unincorporated county, I think is an anathema. And I think that Santa Rosa Valley should be included in the overlay zone. And if that's a problem, then it should be in the whole of Ventura unincorporated county. And I think we should push for that. And we should be asking the Board of Supervisors to be considering that and moving it forward. I mean, is there anybody on this board who feels that it's a good idea that houses are being bought up for temporary rental units?
Not me.
No.
Okay,
I would add
this to be an action item on the next MAC meeting, please.
Okay, and thank you.
An action item to what?
To discuss temporary rental units and a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors.
That we've been placed in an overlay district.
You can put that on if you like, or we can have it more vague.
I'll just do a recommendation regarding.
We've heard no before.
That's true. And I would like to add, these homes that are being bought like this, those are big tax bases for the county. So as far as the county having resources to expand code compliance, to handle the expanded overlay, we got the tax money to prove it. We can do it, right?
Right. I mean, if Ojai can get it, why can't we get it?
That's right.
All right. Well, now, can we just go back one step to the event permit?
All right.
It's my understanding that no event permits are going to be issued in the Santa Rosa Valley without it coming to the Santa Rosa Valley MAC. Is that still correct?
They always let us know when there's a CUP, so.
All right. We get a chance to vote on it
Application,
each
a
time,
CUP
right?
application. I'm sorry?
We get a chance to vote on it each time.
Yeah.
You provide a recommendation.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but
Because we got,
I am,
you know,
I am.
Santa Rosa Valley got badly burned one time already, and we're not going to do that again. You know, we're certainly not going to do it with us approving it.
But I am confused at this point. I've heard this number 75 people can max. Is that under a CUP or just under a general party or residential ordinance? Which is it, Linda? Is it?
I think 75, more than 75, and you fall into a official venue.
Yeah, but I'm looking it up.
I know,
Okay,
but
but-
even
I could also ask if you have looked into seeing whether they do have a business license and and they are paying their transient occupancy tax. Those are two requirements. So
But if you're a TRU, under the rules, you're only allowed to have 16 people on the property. There's a very good,
That's a COVID
website on the county website, which
I think that's
all temporary rental unit questionnaire answers all these questions.
Okay.
And Denise, if you don't have that already, I'm happy to send it to you.
okay.
I'm just looking up the email from the
and then
Yeah.
compliance officer.
Mark, I understood that, you know, I own a home in Lake Tahoe that is an Airbnb, or it's Vacasa residence. I have 3 bedrooms. You cannot have more than 6 people in that residence at any time. So I think it's tied to bedrooms.
It is
Protect
taken,
Nevada.
but also the rules are going to be different in Tahoe than they are in Ventura County.
And they're gonna be different under COVID and non-COVID. And I think the Warren's concern is once COVID's lifted, it might go higher than 16. On their website, she actually was claiming that 16 is a limit, but you can get special owner permission to go above that if you ask the owner. Now, about events, you're allowed a certain number of private events per year. Like even these people had a private Halloween party where 300 people were there, literally. So is there some rule that you could have 2 or 3 a year, but if you go beyond that, now you're an event center? Is that right too? I mean.
Well, I think it has to do with whether or not you charge. I mean, like I have a Christmas party every year and I have over 300 people every year. So, but that's my home, my friends.
So they didn't charge for the 300. You're right. So that you can have those as many as you want, but that's a bummer.
And I also wanted to address the point made about Ojai. Ojai has affordable housing that's being lost as a result, or they were as a result of so many TOUs. And I would just, while you're thinking about what you're going to talk about and the case you're going to make at your next MAC meeting, think about things like what makes Santa Rosa Valley different and in need of that. Including, you know, how many TOUs you have in your valley that is occurring, and also whether it is those kind of arguments that were made in Ojai, for example.
Yeah, in the beach area, it was noise that was their big problem, and so close quarters.
And parking was, I recall, being one too.
While we're at it, Venice, can we ask? Let's get a list of how many TRUs there are in Santa Rosa Valley from the county.
Okay,
That would be business licenses.
Yeah.
I would have to do, the business license.
I wonder if you could look it up.
Yeah.
And the transient occupancy tax. Those are the 2 things that TOUs need to have.
Yeah.
So if Priscilla doesn't have those, I think that would be good to know.
Right.
One thing that I think that I've seen in the past is, you know, and this is completely different from your situation, Maria, is where somebody's like said, I have a bedroom that's, you know, where the people live in their home and they have one.
Rosemary, there's two different things. One's called short-term rental and the other's called a home share.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so that's all in the ordinance.
Okay.
Okay. I'm glad we all got a little bit educated tonight, but I need to read that ordinance myself.
I need to read the ordinance. Denise, can you send it to
I
all
was
to
gonna
us?
send you the ordinance. I have a.
Okay, and
Honestly, I've never read it before.
the ordinance may be really difficult to read. The frequently asked questions thing on the county website is very helpful. Do you have that, Denise?
Well, anyone can go. I can put that in the chat.
Great.
One second. I
It's
gotta go
got
to the
like-
website.
I've got like 29
See, and what's hard
questions.
for me is I understand Maria's situation or the Nelson's situation is they have a shared driveway. I mean, to me, when you look at something, oh, Ellen, is it your shared driveway too? Ellen Trover is trying to speak. Can you unmute her?
She should be able to unmute on her own.
Ellen, you need to
got it
unmute.
Yeah, everyone has the,
Okay, I do not share the driveway. I do share, have a property line that is adjacent to this property, and Maria is a neighbor on the other side. I looked into the driveway when we purchased our property in 1975, and there was originally going to be a public road down that alignment. And when it was abandoned to the county, in order not to create two lots that had no public access, they created this shared driveway. So a third of it roughly, as when you first enter, belongs to the Parkers. And then once they turn off to go up to their property, the next turn off is to the Nelson's property. And then the end of the driveway goes to this particular property that you're referring to. Our property goes right up to the edge of that driveway. So we have the traffic issue and the people who park on our property issue, but we do not have the maintenance of the driveway issue.
It seems to me when you have a shared driveway, it's more of an issue, or it should be more of an issue to be able to have some help come in. And
Well, I feel that way because it's a single family that lives back there. And these are each single family homes. The maintenance of that driveway is going to be vastly different if 18 people can be staying in that. We're talking about a small hotel now, a boutique hotel. Once you start getting to 18 people and however many cars, they come and how often they visit other locations. So I do feel that my two neighbors that share that driveway are going to run into a great deal more expense and difficulty than they would have without it. And as I say, we have the problem with people trespassing onto our property to park when they have the events, if they continue going the way they are. As I contacted code enforcement about this, and I was told that the 16/18 limit, and it does not apply unless you are in one of the overlay zones, that basically there is no limit on how many people can stay in an Airbnb and a property there. I personally think it should be tied to bedrooms or something, because you have the issue of use of bathrooms and, bedding, etc., as well as, I mean, this is me speculating, my next statement, but when you go out on a point like that and you have 16 or 18 people staying there, what are they going to do in the Santa Rosa Valley except party out there? I mean, it's a ways to go anywhere else. And I'm not saying they won't go visit the Reagan Library or something like that, but the main purpose of staying there sounds to me much more like a group of people who get together, who know each other and want to party. And I also inherited a farm in the Coachella Valley in Riverside County. And this problem goes on down there. We actually have a neighbor to our farm who he built a house specifically for that and has people who come down from Los Angeles and they have all night parties. So, my question becomes, what is the purpose behind staying there? My other issue about the event issue is, it seems to me that a 300 person party, there should be provisions for the number of bathrooms that are available, for the standards of catering, if food is being served, whether it is for being paid, a paid party, or a family party around a dining table is very different from providing food for 300 people. And we certainly do not want to start running into the health issues that could arise from parties of that size. And I also question the issue of alcohol. I don't know whether they are planning to have open bars or cash bars at their events, but if they do have events, you know, I think they are required to have an ABC license also. You can, I know that historical societies and places like that have to have them when they have fundraisers. So I would think that a private venue would have to have it also when you're starting to talk about that number of people.
I know, but one thing that does come to mind is that host ordinance regarding if someone gets in an accident leaving a party like that, the responsibility potentially of the homeowner.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, thank you Ellen, so much for giving us your input. And again, I don't know, Supervisor Parks and Venice, if there's any, you know, avenues that we haven't thought of other than simply an overlay to try to help us or help our neighbors, you know, keep from being, and honestly, when you have a shared driveway, I mean, this is a form of abuse to me. It really is. So, but anyway, if there's any other.
It's good that you have that many homeowners associations that you don't have that problem as rampant as you otherwise would have. We could also get an idea of how much it would cost to go through an overlay zone process.
Please, I think we need it. I think it's.
I think we should look at all options and educate ourselves as much as we can on the current rules and have a discussion about it at the next meeting.
Yeah, this is definitely affecting our constituents.
Could I just mention one other thing, and that is that we do have limited fire access in that area. And that means that these large events and or even having that many people stay in a home, to me, you know, starts becoming more questionable than when these were private homes.
These are the kind of points you'll want to make when you are making the request at the next staff meeting. So something to think about.
Yeah, I have chills up my spine for 4th of July parties where they don't know fireworks could set the whole valley on blaze, you know.
Oh, yes.
And my home's right next to it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so sorry.
It's incongruous with our valley. It's an equestrian agricultural area. Why should we have all these LA people partying here? It's just, it doesn't match our lifestyle. We came up here for peace and quiet, not parties.
No, I understand.
Yeah. It's
You know,
not
the other
classic.
thing, have you read your easement or the rules of your driveway?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a right-of-way agreement.
Yeah.
We've hired a lawyer, so they're looking into that.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
I think you can establish a homeowners association after the housing tract is already built.
Right. And then you'd have 2/3 of majority of it for just that driveway. And you could outvote them.
Right. How do we do that?
Yeah.
You know, none of us know, unfortunately. You'd have to get an attorney who specializes in homeowners associations.
You can covenant your deed for homeowners association. I am a retired attorney and did a lot of property work. It is possible to do it, but it has to be by the consent of the owners. And after the fact, you have a problem that someone who is not an owner can say, no, I don't want to join the homeowners association. And that person then isn't a member.
And they don't have to live by the rules.
Right. But they do have to live by the rules of their deed as far as that shared driveway is concerned.
Yes.
Right. Well,
That
I think
is already existent before the other people purchased.
right. So that's important to research the terms of that easement.
That's the key to that aspect of it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And I am sorry about the temporary rental unit situation.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank those residents for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah.
Mark.
Super Parks, this isn't temporary rental units, but the other issue, of course, is the ADU units. I'm wondering if we have any clear-cut rules right now regarding Santa Rosa Valley and those. I know
That will be on your agenda for for January. There's the planning division is still working with county council to understand those impacts. They weren't ready to present at this meeting, so we've invited them to the January meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
All right. council comments on issues not on the agenda. Kevin.
Okay. I got a call from Gene West, who is on the Cam Rosa Board of Directors. Unfortunately, he wanted to speak about this, but he's at his meeting tonight, Cam Rosa's same night. So Gene called me with this major heads up to all of us that the Department of Water Resources statewide is looking at the serious drought that we may be facing. And it's not good news because there's this concept of water budgeting. Okay, and you may have heard of that in the Oxnard Plains. Farmers have to freak out when there's a water budget on their crops. The Las Virgenes Water District has already gone through this to an extreme because they're on 100% state water. And what the standard sort of is 50 gallons per person per day. That's for residential use. For commercial, there's different rules, and he didn't go into those, and they might, you know, for commercial, like I'm growing commercial avocados, so I'm not affected, but residents in Santa Rosa Valley, this could be coming down the line next year, even as early as a spring announcement, if we don't get a big winter rain snowpack. And what Las Virgenes experienced was, not only did they have to figure out for inside use, but also outside use, how do you budget your landscape, you know, watering? And that is what the DWR is considering, that they're going to have to come up with both this 55 gallons per person, but also a budget for your outside landscaping. But guess what? They're going to give you 0 for outside. That's one of the things they're thinking of. The way that Las Virgenes did it, and it's sort of a state of the art, is they did through satellite imagery. You figured out what's your arable land, which is basically your parcel size minus any hardscape. And then they give you a budget for that. And so they went through this on their own last year because they had to do something to control their water use because they're on 100% state water. It becomes very expensive. If you go over your budget, then you start incurring penalties, and you know, that has to be worked out. But the big fear that Gene expressed to me is he's really bummed that all our local water sources in Cam Rosa are part of this budget. So even though we're not on 100% state water, they look at, well, how much water is your district using of your own local water? And we're going to consider that like we gave it to you. So that means you get less state water than you would normally get because you have this local water. And in his mind, that is, they're basically stealing our water. All the money we put into developing local water sources is poof, gone. I mean, that capital expenses, it doesn't benefit us anymore. I mean, we're under the same restrictions that they put into place. And the scary one is, you know, sorry, big acre lots out in Santa Rosa, you get 55 gallons per person per day. That's it. So he just wanted to spread that fear factor in there. I hope I did a good job. But he would be here at I'd already asked Tony Stafford to come to this meeting, but like their meetings this night. So they'll be at the next MAC meeting and there'll be more talk at the DWR, and it's actually Metropolitan's going along with this idea too. They're sort of on the same page as DWR, so that's not good because that'll come down to Callegas and down to us. So Cam Rosa,
go ahead and send out to everybody that Metropolitan water notice that I sent you right before the meeting.
I haven't received it yet.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
Send it again.
I sent you the link to it.
I haven't gotten an email from you.
Okay.
So try again.
right. It's just my information. I don't want to have a big discussion beyond, you know, Gene's thing.
Yes.
So, okay.
Mark.
Just a quick report on from the graffiti team. We got a complaint on Facebook about graffiti on the Ruth Means underpass that goes underneath Santa Rosa Road. The team went out, painted those out, and sent the photos to Venice to send on to the police. But obviously, based on what happened, people were not that familiar with the fact that there was a graffiti team. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep watching on Facebook. Anyway, that's the update on that.
Who is on the graffiti team now?
Me. There are actually technically maybe about 6 people. Phil Ochoa moved to Texas. They're technically, it's usually it's not that much. It's easy just to go do it and organize.
Mark, I volunteer to
I
join.
know it's just, but it's like, it takes an hour and it's done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, council comments on items not on the agenda. I just sent to everyone, and can you go ahead and put that on the screen?
Oh, you want me to put on the screen? Yeah, I emailed it.
Kevin, it's along the lines of what you were talking about. I got the notice from Metropolitan Water District, and I'm wondering if Anise can put this on the screen,
Yeah.
because it's definitely my
Hold on.
point to talk about.
Wait,
Which
is that, hold on. I don't know what I shared.
That's it. It was it.
that was it.
That was it? Oh, that was it? I shared the right
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. There is one thing. Okay, going down to where it starts out, the California Department of Water Resources. Yes.
You want me to scroll down, Rosemary?
Yes.
Please. There.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah, that one that starts, it's not highlighted, okay? So the California Department of Water Resources has indicated that the allocation next month will be 0. And if drought conditions continue, the state could do something it has never done before. Provide only enough water as deemed necessary to protect the health and safety of Californians. Under this never before used provision of the SWP contract, the state has indicated it would constrain water deliveries to a level that may prevent any outdoor watering.
Okay.
Now, I don't know the people that have, like Kevin, avocado groves, but I think we definitely need to be prepared for this and let our constituents know that there is an issue, and we are nearing a problem.
How did you get this letter?
It was set, I'm on a legislative committee through the Board of Realtors. So they sent it to me as an advance warning.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I believe this is a press release that was made November 9th. And that was what I had asked Venice to send out to everybody.
November
Yeah.
9th.
Yeah, November 9th. So, and I thought it was important for us all to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, Gene made
well-
it a point that he was talking about residential use. So that's why I made the point of
Yeah,
ag is not included in that paragraph. I don't believe they're not gonna. They're talking about residents in that one.
yeah.
Well, I did email it out to you, so you all can look it over. And again, as Kevin said, Tony Stafford indicated he would be attending the meeting in January. So it'll be on your agenda, and then you'll be able to have a full discussion then, because it'll be agendized.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing that I was told is that with this, potentially there will be more credits for people to do more water conserving landscape. So that hasn't come through, but as of right now, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, but what's the point if you can't even water that?
I know. Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of artificial turf.
Oh. Oh yeah.
So,
They've got those programs in place already. Replace your grass with turf and you get a rebate.
right.
Be water wise. There's a lot of programs out there, but this is a newbie that people will turn. It'll turn Southern California into a desert, basically, like it's supposed to be, I think.
Yeah. Which doesn't say much for our beautiful lush lawns, but honestly, obviously the health and safety of the individuals come first.
Yeah.
Okay. Public comments
Or
on items.
Did Mark, did you have one? I thought you raised your hand to have a
No,
council.
no, I did, and
You
it was
did.
the grit. It was the grit thing.
Oh, it was a grit. Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
I-
It
I
wasn't
would
very
like-
exciting. I can see why you forgot it already.
No, I was doing the email.
All right, so this is going to be on our agenda, correct, with Tony for
Tony,
January?
yes, yeah.
Because this, I think, is definitely something that's going to be important for all of our constituents.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any comments on items not on the agenda?
I did want to point out that today we got our first PSPS. It's for, I believe it was Casa Conejo in Newbury Park and some other areas in the unincorporated county. So just knowing that that's starting to start up again, these public power shutoffs.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
yes.
Darn it. Okay.
Why are they shutting off power? Oh, because of winds?
The wind.
Fire danger.
All right.
We're
Wow.
getting to be, yeah, November. I mean, we're at that time of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, written communications. Denise, anything?
I don't have any written communications. Do you?
Okay. Future agenda items.
Well, I have a recommendation on the temporary rental units as an action item.
Yes.
I am, just so you know, we have as we mentioned, Tony Stafford coming to speak about water issues. We've invited planning to speak about accessory dwelling units and SB 9 and 10. So those are 3.
Okay.
I think that's a.
We could talk about the draft again. I'm sure that might be something to discuss too, if anything's happening drought wise.
Yeah.
Would that be separate from the discussion with Tony Stafford, I guess?
He
Well,
might be able to cover it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
I was in a presentation yesterday with Larry Williams and some other people from the fire department, and they did say that they are going to get more active in enforcing defensible space, which we knew from our last meeting. But I think that it's important that the people understand, dead trees, dead palm fronds, all these things are issues that can be enforced by the fire department. And it's not just every June at this point.
Right.
Yeah. It's year
So
round.
I don't know if it's something we should bring up in the meeting, just so that people can see it again. But I got more literature from the fire department yesterday, but I'm guessing that you have it at the county. But I just think it would be good if we could put it on the website at least.
Oh, sure.
I think it's really important for people to see. I mean, I'm surprised at some of the things that are on those lists. And I think it's important that everybody else knows about it.
Okay. I can look into that for you, Rosemary. Also, if you recall from the fire safety panel, Chief Lorenzen said that they're looking at the data and they would come back in about 6 months or so to give an update. So I know that's not immediate, but just so you're aware.
Can I ask a question? Maybe Amy knows the activity at the future Wildwood Preserve, community. Are they moving that drainage thingy, that was going to be in the way of the road extension of whatever road that is, Blanchard or whatever. Is there activity that their developments going forward, or who's doing that activity on Santa Rosa Road there?
No, that's for the watershed protection, from my understanding.
Oh, okay. Because the
Yeah.
original plan had that thing moving, that big pipe thing had to get
No.
moved out. Okay, that's
And-
not that.
No, but I have to be, now that you mentioned it, I've been trying to find the owner of that property now, after all of the drama that went forth with the Charles Company, just to kind of get an ear on what's going on with that.
Okay. And also, Linda, is it too premature? I don't know what the timing would be. If we wanted to try to ask about extending the MAC boundaries, would it be good? I mean, I assume in January the districts are set. What's the timing for maybe if we want to consider doing that, you think is best?
I don't think there's any time frame.
I don't know if we want to put on January's agenda or not. Mark, Rosa.
Hey, guys, there was a comment from Cindy.
Yeah,
asking
about
the-
dark skies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. It's still there. You guys have had a lot on your agendas. So we'll
I
get
would
we'll
make
get
it
it
a-
on. Yeah.
I would make it an action item, but I think it's worth a discussion. You know, certainly if you're going to move in that direction, you would want to get the input of those residents.
I see. So we could brainstorm it next time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe at least bringing in the ranches that are further west.
Something to discuss at the next meeting when it's on the agenda.
Right.
So
All right. Oh,
Are we
well, we're-
adding dark sky to ordinance?
yeah, I'll add it too. Yeah.
Okay.
okay. And the other thing was, tell me, is there any change regarding the access to the trail on that one property that we were investigating with the,
The trail is still open at this point.
okay, great. All right. All right. So if there's no further discussion, I think,
There was a thought that there was somebody who was a dark sky ordinance expert would come.
Yes, I think he fell ill, so we haven't really approached him again, but we were giving him some time, but we can circle back.
Yes,
Me too.
it would be helpful because not a lot of us know a lot about it, and apparently he does. So if we can invite him to zoom in with us, that would be fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed on Barbara, but there's stadium, I don't know how that works, but like stadium lighting on one of the homes in the front. And it's like mind blowing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't bother me because I don't really see it, but when I'm outside, I'm like, I feel so badly for the people that live right under it. So,
Okay. We can get educated on lighting ordinances.
yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Well, without further discussion, we are going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Vivian.
Thank you, Rosemary.
All for joining us.
Thank you and have a
Thank
safe
you.
and happy holiday season.
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving,
Happy
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Could you
and
just remind me when the next MAC meeting is before you hang
It
up?
will be the third Thursday, so that would be January 20th.
January the 20th. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you from
all.
thank you
Thank you
from Palm
all.
Desert, California.
Oh, is that where you are, Kelly?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you.